Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangl.
Well, welcome to episode number 46 of the Monday Money Tip Podcast. My name is Joseph Sangl. Thanks for joining us on hopefully this Monday morning, because I know you guys waited with great anticipation as we release each episode on Monday mornings. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Jen Sangl, my bride of 20, almost 22 years. Get fired up.
Yes.
Are you excited to be a part of the episode today?
I am. Talking about summer, my favorite.
Yeah, I know it's your favorite month. And we moved to South Carolina, and I learned that in South Carolina, there's a fifth season. It's between summer number 1 and 2 called Inferno. And right now, we're excited to be able to jump in the pool and swim and all that stuff. It's great. But today, we're going to talk about all things summer. Can you read the question that we're going to answer today?
With so many people going on vacations and sending their kids to different summer camps, people spend money they wouldn't normally spend during other times of the year. Can you share some tips on how to keep your finances predictable during the summer months?
Yes, absolutely. Some tips. Don't have summer, so move to the Arctic Circle. That'd be great. But other than that, your life usually goes out of rhythm when it's summertime. We're going to talk about that. It's going to be so great. But first, it's that great time of the podcast. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not 0% balance transfer credit card page. On this page, you can see how transferring a high-interest credit card balance can help you gain serious traction toward debt freedom. Our topic for today's episode. For more information on today's current events relating to 0% balance transfer credit cards, be sure to visit the Next Steps 0% credit cards page at www.iwbnin.com.
Yes. And so today we're talking about our current money events section. Current money events. Boom. Did you like that?
Not really.
I don't think that's unusual from my normal co-host, Megan, either. But anyhow, we'll carry on since I nailed it, obviously. Today we're talking about real estate. Real estate. Man, is that an amazing topic. It is crazy what's been happening with real estate ever since the Great Recession. And CNBC recently posted an article, this was released on April 4th, that said home prices have hit a record as higher-end listings dominate this spring's market. And I would just say all the listings are higher-end now.
Yes.
Home values overheated from 2016 to mid-2018 as demand outstripped supply. And if you've learned in economics, when supply is less than demand is greater than supply, then prices go up, especially at the lower end of the market. Those gains began to shrink last summer as mortgage rates rose. The difference this spring is that there continues to be a shortage of entry-level homes for sale, but the supply of higher-end homes is rising. Well, a lot more houses moved into the higher end because the price is going up so much. One great thing is that interest rates are moderating because the Federal Reserve has came out and said they don't see increasing anymore, not for a while anyhow. And that's a great thing for the housing industry. It does say another thing that caught my eye on a CNBC article that was released on April 1 is that 4.9 million homeowners could reduce their loan rates. Why? Because rates have decreased recently. So listen to that. 4.9 million homeowners could actually get a lowered rate. So if you got your house over the last couple of years, you need to take a look at your rate, and it may make sense for you to get a refinance. So think through your real estate transaction. If you're getting ready to sell, consider the market in which you're going to be purchasing. You know, I recently had a friend sell his home in a hot real estate market in a major city, and he moved to a city with more moderate pricing. They haven't experienced the increase, and he got nearly double the house at half the cost. As a result, he's going to own his house outright and put some money in the bank. Get fired up. Now, if you're buying, you need to consider how long you're planning to hold your home and what your potential exit strategy looks like. Do you really believe the market will be better when it comes to time to sell your home? That is a realistic question. Because we had an overbaked market that happened in 2004, 5, 6. There's a lot of people. I know, like Las Vegas, Phoenix, the houses dropped to 30% of the previous selling prices. It was an absolute unmitigated disaster. Most of Florida had a 50% drop in the equity in their houses. That's crazy. And so make sure you think that through. It is a top of a market. Will it go much higher? We don't know. But let me tell you something. If you don't plan on being on that house for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, it might make sense to rent for a little while unless you find a screaming deal. And so think about that as you're entering into your next real estate transaction. I have a couple of great pages that you can track, and I encourage you to read it on a regular basis. One of them is provided by CNBC, their housing page, and another one's from Realtor.com, where you typically look at home prices. They actually have a page that shows market trends for your area. It can be very helpful for you understanding. And of course, Zillow is another one. We'll include those links in the show notes. So that's it for today's current money events section. Did you like that?
That was pretty good.
You love real estate.
I do.
So let's talk about a success story.
We were both very excited because it was the first time that we were on the same page with our finances. That was our big win. To be doing it together and not fighting against each other. We received our tax return and saved our month of expenses. That made us feel great, and then we had a family emergency, and I had to drive to Washington to be with my mom and take time off work. That was the hardest since the meeting, but it won't hurt us financially now. Kelly,
thank you so much for sharing that. There's a couple things that are so huge that I want to mention. Number one, they were very excited because it was the first time they were on the same page with their finances and they didn't fight about money. That's awesome. Because that is actually what happens when you have a budget. Is you actually focus on the issues and not on each other. You're still going to have some nice little money fights occasionally along the way. But let me tell you something, that's a big win because ultimately that financial conversation is about way more than money. It's about your shared plans, hopes, and dreams, your individual plans, hopes, and dreams. Really huge. The second thing that I want everybody to catch from what Kelly shared is that she received her tax return, which was non-usual money. You know, you don't get that every month. And they chose to save some. A lot of people want to go spend it. They think they see the word fun in the middle of refund and think it's a sign from God they should blow it. But they chose to save that 1 month of expenses. And if you're familiar with our I Was Broke, Now I'm Not ladder, that is rung number 2 of the 9 rungs to financial success in a fully funded life. And so because they chose that, they were able to encounter a financial challenge and still prosper. That's awesome. So thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing that success story with us. And as a result, we get to share it with all of our listeners. And we hope it inspires you to take your next step up the ladder to a fully funded life. So now we're going to go to the main session, and we're going to answer the featured question. Read that question to everybody again to remind them what we're going to talk about today.
With so many people going on vacations and sending their kids to different summer camps, people spend their money that they normally wouldn't spend during other times of the year. Can you share some tips on how to keep your finances predictable during the summer months?
Yes, I can share some tips. And I'm going to share 4 tips, really. Man, this is a big deal. Isn't summer awesome?
I love summer.
Yeah, we go on lots of trips.
We do.
Some of them planned, some of them unplanned. We spend some money. The kids seem to grow a lot in summer.
Yeah.
Why? Is it because they get more sun? Do kids grow more due to sun?
I do not know. I know they eat a lot.
That is a research question. Somebody out there in our podcast listener land knows the answer to that question. And while I can't answer it, someone can. Do children grow more when they're out in the sun? That's a great question. It's very relevant to today's episode. I'm sure of it. Are you sure of it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, anyhow, and another question, do suns grow more when they stand out in the sun? I don't know. Anyhow, but how do you save money and keep your finances predictable through the summer? Well, number 1, automate the important. Automate stuff. Man, it's so simple these days financially to be on track because you can automate stuff. Like, can you automate giving?
Yes.
Absolutely. Can you automate saving?
Yes.
Absolutely. Can you automate investing?
Absolutely.
Can you automate your bill payments?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. But I want to speak to all of y'all. Listen to this podcast. Listen, I'm Southern. I've been in South Carolina 20 years, 21 years now, and all y'all is now part of my language. Listen to me right now. The number 1 reason why people do not automate these things, giving, saving, investing, or bill payments, hear me, see if I'm telling the truth, is because people don't have margin. They don't have money in the savings account. And because they don't have money in the savings account, they're really fearful about allowing an automatic deduction to happen. But if you have a couple grand sitting in your savings account, in your bill pay account, you don't really care, and you'll just set up automatic payments. And so I will tell you, the reason we encourage you in rung number 2 of the ladder is to put aside a month's worth of expenses is so that you can go to monthly budgeting, but also so you can automate stuff. It makes life so much easier. So that's one of the reasons why I strongly encourage you to prioritize savings, because then it allows you to automate this important stuff. So in the busyness of a summer, you might forget paying a bill on time. But if it's automated, you won't have to worry about it. Anything you want to speak into that?
It's just way less stressful, too, because as you said, if you're in town, if you're half of the month, you miss the beginning of the month, you don't have to worry about it. It's already taken care of, and you can figure out the rest when you get back.
That's it. And so automate the important. That helps you have a more predictable experience with your money through the summer. The second one is to set a realistic budget. You've got to have a realistic budget in the summer. Come on. I mean, you're listening to this podcast. You're trying to win with your money. You're wanting to advance up the ladder as fast as possible. But let me tell you, the summer is just different. And you need to prepare a realistic budget. This is why we advocate preparing a new budget every month. Speak to that.
Every month is different, because I know sometimes in the summer, like we're traveling and going so much that we might not buy as many groceries, but we're going to eat out more. Or, we need to put in money in there for our vacation. So every month is different. So you have to look at a lot of stuff will be the same. So it won't take quite as long, but you have to change it every month.
Are you going to the water park? Are you going to go to the theme park? Are you going to go to the aquarium? Are you going to go to the children's museum? Are you going to the zoo? I mean, listen, especially for everybody who's a stay-at-home parent and those kids are out of school, I mean, you're going to find things for them to do. Or else you're just going insane. So it's either spend the money for mental health care, or another way of mental health care is getting your kids engaged in different activities and summer camps and all that sort of stuff.
But also
make sure the budget is realistic.
And make sure you're budgeting, the right amount of money when you go on a trip. Because don't say, okay, we're just going to all make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and eat those for a week. That's not realistic. You have to, be realistic about how much you're going to spend on food. How much is gas really, especially as it increases over the summer. We are going to stay in the hotel. What's the real cost of that?
Make sure it's realistic. You've got to plan for this stuff. And it's okay to admit it on paper and then follow it. And so automate the important, have a realistic budget. And then the third thing I wanted to share with you, if you really want your money to behave through the summer, is you got to do this. You got to spend the savings. I mean, hopefully you've been saving all year long for the known upcoming but non-monthly expenses. I'd speak about this in our study. I speak about it at our financial learning events, those financial learning experience events, the live events that we teach. It's known upcoming, but non-monthly expenses. We have a free tool for those. And the whole goal is to save for those known upcoming, but not monthly expenses every paycheck. And you've hopefully been saving for things like summer vacation, like summer expenses. And now when the time comes for summer, it's time to spend that money. And a lot of people freak out because that money has been accruing through those cold last months of winter, and the money stacking up, and they feel really sad about that money departing. I mean, Ben Franklin's going away permanently, it feels like. But listen, it may feel like deficit spending overall, but because you saved in advance, it allows you to still make progress through the summer without blowing your regular budget. Hear me. You're going to find the money somewhere. Make sure you save for it during these off-summer months so that when summer shows up, you can still have fun, and it works out really well. What would you speak to that? Tell everybody. I mean, we save for this stuff.
We do. We save. We have a yearly trip that we take to Minnesota, the vacation capital of the world. And
the land of 10,000 lakes, and we'll be on one of them. Come find us.
And our kids talk about it all year long, and we know. So every month we save for that, and when we go, we have a blast. And we get to buy extra food and do extra fun things that we don't normally do during the year because we've saved for it.
One of the great gifts that is given to us by the place that we rent from is they want quarterly payments. So we don't owe it all at one time. And you know why they do that? Because they're a small business and they want cash flow through the year. They don't want it all just in the summer. Yeah. And you know what? It helps us plan as well. So it's a win-win for both parties. The other thing that I would say, in addition to automating the important stuff, so you have to remember to do all that, and having realistic budgets, and then spending the savings is number 4, have cheap fun. Man, you can have some cheap fun. I mean, it's unbelievable. In fact, I've got a link to this activity. I did some research for everybody who's going to listen to the podcast, and I found this thing that says 100 fun, cheap, or free summer activities for kids. And man, is it awesome. It is so great. It's got things like go on a nature walk, go on a hike. What are some other things that you would share that are free or fun?
One of our favorite things to do is our local bowling alley has dollar bowling on Thursday mornings. And so it's $1 for your shoes, $1 for your game, $1 hot dogs. And the kids can win prizes. And my daughter was talking about it this morning. She's like, when are we going bowling where we get prizes? And I said, in the summer. So that's one of our favorite fun things to do. We love to go hiking. My other favorite thing to do is I call up friends with pools and say, hey, what you doing today? And we go hang out with some friends and we get to go swimming. And I just bring a box of popsicles to share.
And last summer, we actually got a membership at a local country club for a pool. And I think, how much was that for the summer?
It was about $500.
$500, but it was unlimited
used
juice for the entire summer. And we wore it out.
We did. And even when we had family in town, they were able to come too for free.
They allow you to bring your friends for like up to 2 weeks as a pass.
It was the first summer I really wasn't ready for summer to end. We had so much fun.
Our kids learned how to swim amazingly, and they just loved to go there. And then they met friends there. We got some other friends who did the same thing. Mm-hmm. So listen, you can have fun, cheap, or free summer activities. A lot of movie theaters will have, the $1 movie or a free movie, or it's like $4 and they get free popcorn.
Yeah, and they're usually movies they've seen, but it's still fun to go and get a group of friends together.
You can do finger painting. I just say take a kid fishing, take a kid outside. I mean, just outside. Half the hashtags on my Instagram channel are hashtag get outside, or get outdoors, because you can have a lot of fun for free. I will tell you, as a kid, I had no money, so we found free and next to free. So we would buy White Castle hamburgers, which are awesome, and go play basketball every Sunday afternoon. And the basketball court at the park was free. And we ran out all those White Castles, and it was awesome and had so much fun. Listen, how much money you spend on your summer activities does not correlate to how much fun your kids have. How much money you spend does not equal fun factor.
They really just want to spend time with you.
That's it.
Doing whatever, hiking, playing outside. It doesn't have to be expensive. They just want time with you.
And so I just really encourage you through the summer to print out this list. I mean, we've got a link to it in the show notes. It's from funcheaporfree.com. And I don't know who those folks are, but they've got a great list put together. And I actually printed out, have it on my desk, and I plan on checking off at least 70 of them this summer. I'm going to wear my kids out doing all these activities, and they really are great. And I actually found a great idea at a hobby store where you could make concrete rocks, and it was like $7, and I can make 3 of them in these molds, and they can put their handprint in it and decorate it and paint it. It came with the paints and everything, and the kids love it. And so I encourage you to have cheap fun through the summer. It's a great way to make your budget behave. So let's go through the 4 things again. Automate the important. That way you don't have to worry about whether or not things get paid on time and don't incur stress. Secondly, have a realistic budget. Make sure that you have money in there for fun. The third thing is know that it's okay to save the money or spend the money you've saved for all summer, for the summer. And the fourth thing is have cheap fun. And when you do, you will have a blast this summer. The Helpful Tour app is the known upcoming expenses calculator that I referenced. We have a link to it. It's found at iwbnin.com under the savings tools. And it is a great way to plan out, and then you can automate those savings through the year so that you have money for the summer months. Share everybody what the key financial quote is this summer for the Summer and Money episode.
Planned money accomplishes more than unplanned money by Joseph Sangl.
That's me. And you know who that guy is.
I do.
So planned money, it does accomplish more than unplanned money. So it's a hot seat time. Let me ask you the hot seat questions this time. I'll flip it on you.
Okay.
A lot of times, people need to hear from Jen Sangl more. So they get to hear my voice a lot. I'm so excited for this. By the way, I'm going to set the rules for the hot seat. You have to answer within 5 seconds.
Okay.
And you can't talk for more than 30 seconds on a particular question.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Biology.
In high school and college?
Yes. In college, it would have been biochemistry.
Okay. I don't know what all that is. Those are my least favorite. But you have a time machine. Where and when would you go first?
Oh, gosh. Probably back. I know it's the Sunday school answer, but probably back to hang out with Jesus.
Yeah? Which part of Jesus' life?
Probably the start.
Some of it be outright scary. Like when he's a baby? When you say the start? Or you mean the start of his ministry?
The wedding. Where he turns the water into wine would be a good place to start.
The big miracle there.
But it would be kind of fun to see him grow up and see what kind of kid he was.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know about a lot of his years. He was born, and the next thing we know, he's 30.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool to see the in-between.
That's awesome. Here's the other one. Tell us about your best birthday.
Gosh, my best one. My best recent one would probably be last year when we got to stay at the Bleckley Inn and just the two of us and go to Sullivan's
for dinner. Which is a local little hotel in our town. And we bid on that in some sort of silent auction.
At the
and
school.
Won that deal.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Took us a year to use it. That was awesome. And so I encourage you guys, as you go through life, have fun. And listen, this summer, have a great summer. Save a lot of money by making sure you use that 100 free or cheap ideas and have a plan that reflects reality and make sure you automate those payments. You will have a fantastic and terrific summer months, financially and otherwise. And so the next episode, tell everybody what we're going to be talking about. It's the last one of the month, so this shouldn't be a surprise to any of our regular listeners.
It's the last one of May, so that means we will be answering your top money questions from this month, rapid fire style.
Yes. And so if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You can do this by quickly rating our podcast and leaving a review. Those ratings and reviews will help us make our podcast better for you, our beloved listeners. On the last Monday of the month, as we mentioned, we're answering top money questions. There's still time to get your question in. Email it to us at info@iwbnin.com. Who knows? It could be featured on the next episode of the podcast. If you've implemented one of our tips, share your success story with us. Our podcast is fueled by your great success. We want to hear from you. Share those stories with us as well. Email us at info@iwbnin.com, and we will see you next week. Have a great week and a happy Monday. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.